current Dead by Daylight meta is stale, predictable, and overwhelmingly tilted against killers. At this point, calling it unbalanced feels generous. I'm glad I didn't just straight DC. What the fuck? Killers are stuck in a cycle where they have to rely on the strongest possible meta perks just to keep a match remotely competitive because survivors rarely, if ever, handicap themselves in return. And honestly, can you blame killers? The game as it stands gives them no breathing room. 2025 was supposed to be the year things changed. It was marketed as the year of quality over content, a chance for Behaviour to finally fix long-standing killer issues, clean up bugs, refresh the gameplay, and stabilize the foundation of the entire experience. But instead of progress, what did we get? Delays, broken updates, a flood of new issues, and a meta that refuses to evolve. We are nearly at the end of the year and the game feels more lopsided than ever. A huge chunk of the killer roster is still riddled with bugs, some mildly annoying, others downright game-breaking. Killers have gone months without essential fixes, while survivors continue receiving updates and perks that repeatedly soften their downside and reinforce their safety. When killers ask for help, they are ignored. When survivors complain, solutions drop almost immediately. And we need to acknowledge the core issue. Behaviour has spent an entire year talking about prioritizing quality while completely ignoring the killer side of the community. Killers were excluded from surveys, killers were shut out of communication, and killers were told through silence that their experiences didn't matter. Meanwhile, survivor feedback shaped patches, perk reworks, and even map adjustments, such as the palette density update. How do you balance a PvP game when half the player base isn't part of the conversation? Let's make something absolutely clear. Killer enjoyment matters. Killers are players too. They deserve fair gameplay, reliable mechanics, and a voice in the direction of the game they spend hours in. It's heartbreaking seeing dedicated killer mains uninstall because they feel unheard, unsupported, and unprotected in the current meta environment. Now, let's talk about balance and why killers are stuck. Killer meta perks are nowhere near as strong, reliable, or effortless as survivor meta perks. Survivors get instant value. Killers have to work for every second of value, sometimes performing multiple steps just to activate a perk that survivors can shut down in a moment. Take Pain Resonance, supposedly the best regression perk in the entire killer toolkit. To get value from it, you must find a survivor, chase them, injure them, down them, pick them up, find an RNG dependent scourge hook, and hope survivors haven't already popped that gen you needed to regress. And after all that, you get a single 20% regression, up to a maximum of 4 times. Meanwhile, a survivor presses Shift and W and gets full value from Sprint Burst. They get downed and automatically get value from Decisive Strike. They perform one safe unhook and unlock Deliverance, which can flip losing games instantly. Survivor perks provide consistent, effortless power. Killer perks demand precision, conditions, RNG, and mechanical success. It's not even close. This imbalance extends to information. Survivors are told when killer perks activate. Take Disillusion for example, which literally announces itself on their screen. But killers get no equivalent visibility. Imagine for 1 second if killers could see someone that had Decisive Strike or Deliverance. Survivors would riot immediately. Yet killers are expected to play blind into setups that can completely ruin an entire match. This is why killers cling to meta perks, not because they want to be toxic, but because the game does not allow them to experiment. Survivors are free to run strong builds, meme builds, fun builds, and random combinations because their baseline is safe and forgiving, especially if they only bring 1 second chance perk each. Killers do not have that privilege. If killers run a fun or alternative build, they often lose before the game even starts because survivors are under no obligation to match that energy. And you see, survivors complain when killers run strong perks, but they run the strongest perks themselves. Survivors complain about killers trying to win, but they try to win every match. Survivors complain about killers bringing slowdown, but they bring Gen Rush perks every game. It's simply hypocrisy. And it's one of the main reasons the meta feels suffocating. Dead by Daylight could have amazing build diversity, but it doesn't. There are dozens of fun, interesting, creative killer perks that most players never touch. And why? Because killers are punished for creativity. If you bring a fun build and your survivors bring full meta, you've just handicapped yourself into an unplayable match. Killers can't afford experimentation because survivors don't have to meet them halfway. All of this creates a stale, one-sided experience where killers are stuck looping the same perks forever, and not because they want to, but because they have no choice. So what needs to change? What would actually fix the game? Well, here's what Behaviour must do if they actually want to stabilize the game and give killers a fair environment. Number 1, Behaviour must start communicating with killers. Not selectively, not superficially. Killers need representation in surveys, feedback cycles, and patch-related decisions. You cannot balance kill rates, perk strength, or overall gameplay if you deliberately shut out the people experiencing the worst side of the game. Survivor voices matter, but so do killer voices. Balance doesn't mean ignoring one side to keep the other happy. The second point is, fix killer-sided bugs and mechanical issues immediately. Many killers are genuinely unplayable due to long-standing bugs. Players who want to enjoy certain characters simply can't because they're broken. Survivor-side quality of life improvements have repeatedly taken priority over killer-sided functionality, and that cannot continue. Stability must come first, otherwise the foundation of the entire game remains cracked. The third point, address generator speed and perk imbalance. Please. Generator speed is the #1 factor driving tunneling, camping, and slowdowns. Gens fly even when survivors bring no items and no gen rush perks. Add hyperfocus, stakeout, some toolboxes or brand new parts and the game becomes unmanageable. The base pace of generators should be controlled by the game, not by perk stacking. Survivor items and perks should have minimal effect on gen speed, and killers should not be forced into running slowdown every single match just to buy time. Perks that require effort should be strong, and perks that give free value should be weaker. Right now, survivors get the opposite. The fourth point would be to overhaul the MMR and tutorial system. New players are thrown into the game with almost no guidance. Killers don't learn threat control, survivors don't learn looping, and both sides end up in horribly mismatched games that contribute to burnout. A proper, modern tutorial would give both roles a better foundation. A reworked MMR system would prevent stomp games and easy killer frustration. Better education equals better matches, which also then equals healthier gameplay. If Behaviour actually committed to these steps, Dead by Daylight could finally move forward. And the thing is, it's not too late. The game can still be saved, but only, and I mean this, only if Behaviour stops treating killers like an afterthought. Killers do deserve a voice, stability, fair gameplay, balanced perks, and equal communication. Survivors aren't the only players who matter. Balance means protecting both sides, not just one. Thank you for watching, gamers. You're all absolute goats. If you want to discuss this more, hang out or talk about killer-sided issues in a supportive community, join us on Twitch and drop a follow, and hop into the Discord. It's where most of us chill when we're off stream, and you'll get a warm welcome from some truly goated people. If you have any thoughts, experiences, or frustrations of your own, drop them in the comments below. I read all of them and they help shape future videos, honestly. Until next time, gamers.